so much. And thank you so much for inviting me to be here. It is an honour to be here and show my support for the Millions Missing campaign. I was elected in 2019 to be the MP for Putney, and one of the first all-party parliamentary groups I joined was the group for ME and chronic fatigue syndrome. Because I know people who have it themselves, and my friend Ruth, who's also a constituent but couldn't be here today, has shown me how much effect this disease has on your life. She's one of the millions missing out on being able to work full-time, being able to work at all sometimes, being able to plan her life, being able to socialise as she wants, be able to have the relationship with her family and her friends that she would want to do. She is one of the millions missing. And that really touched me, because when I was pregnant with my children, bear with me on this story, it is relevant, I had hyperemesis gravidum, which is chronic morning sickness. And having that meant that I had chronic fatigue. I was bedbound, and suddenly my world entirely changed, became very small, just my bedroom. I couldn't get out, I couldn't do things, I couldn't understand what was going on, and I felt really misunderstood, because people would say it's just morning sickness, so why are you ill every day? And it should have gone after 12 weeks, why are you still ill? And really didn't understand. That just gave me a tiny experience of what it's like to have ME, with those questions. What's going on? What can I do to assuage my symptoms? Looking online to try and find out what to do, finding other people with this, also having questions. But I knew that there was an end date. But I know so many other people with ME and CFS don't know when it's going to end and can't have hope. So I really want to join today, because you are bringing hope to those millions. 250,000 people across the UK have ME, and 1 million people in America. So millions of people around the world are missing. They're missing out from all these, from a normal life. And we have the millions missing from funding and research. So I have been speaking out in debates, especially debates that come up on long COVID, because the amount of money being given for research, with the overlap of symptoms that there is, I think does give us hope that there will be more research which will give us more answers and get us to the cure. It's fantastic to hear from Claire about the survey that you are doing. Really fantastic. I will be putting that in my next newsletter to my constituents, sharing word and sharing it with as many people as I can to get them to sign up to the study. And it's just in the last 2 or 3 years we've seen a lot of new research and new funding for research, but we need far more. So I'd just like to draw your attention to a research report made by the all-party parliamentary group for ME and CFS. And there's a whole series of recommendations which I thoroughly support, and I'd just like to summarise for you. You will all know far more than anyone else, for yourselves, for the person you are here for the people you are here for, what is needed. It's far more than just research, it's far more than just understanding, but they are a good start. So the report calls for a comprehensive review of current ME service provision, with the understanding by schools and employers and Department for Work and Pensions and the Council about what the impact of this disease is, and therefore what provision needs to be made. Even down to not giving out a blue badge for someone who has ME is really shocking, and it shows, and I've seen this, it shows there's a lack of real understanding and coordination by all different government. We'd like to see a huge increase in this by other research institutes such as the Wellcome Institute as well, for more funding, and for health professionals to follow those NICE guidelines and not be pursuing any form of the GET therapies. And this needs to be understood by the long COVID community as well. And I think the lessons learned by all of you has to be understood for all of those people who have long COVID. I know many people with long COVID now, the variety of symptoms and the impact that that's having on their life. If we don't learn from what's happened to people with ME and the wrong advice they've been given by doctors, then we are really missing out. And what are we doing as a government if we're not learning? There's a whole series of recommendations here on children and young people with ME as well, and much more understanding by the medical community, but also by schools, colleges and higher education communities, to make those assessment modifications, to understand when and how symptoms will show themselves, but also how a diagnosis comes about. My son is 16 and he had glandular fever 2 weeks ago. And I immediately thought of what could result from that and what has resulted for so many people. It could happen to anyone, any time, any age, any part of our country. And so we should be supporting everyone with ME. We should get those results and the knowledge and the answers that we need, and we should get that cure. And so I'm here today to support you. Thank you for coming out. There are 250,000 people who have ME across the country. Imagine if they were all here. Imagine they were filling this square. It would be full, plus some. Down the road, down Parliament Street, it would be full. They can't be here, so we are here for them. That's how I see my role as an MP. So do write to your MP. It does make a difference. I'm here because many constituents of mine have written to me. Ask them to join the all-party parliamentary group on ME. Ask them to ask written parliamentary questions. Ask them to write to the minister. Ministers keep changing, so this is quite a busy job at the moment to write to new ministers. Every time there's a new minister, ask them to write to the new one, and ask them, and do ask your MPs to take action. So that's one thing I would ask you to do. And I would also, please, could I ask you to say hello to Ruth, my friend and constituent, who has ME but can't be here today, and she'd love to hear from you. I've got my Anissa here is going to video a little clip of you saying hello to Ruth. Would that be all right? She would be so encouraged by this. So, if we can all, I say 1, 2, 3, and if you all say hello, Ruth. Is that okay? Right. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Ruth. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, and I will keep supporting you.